I had a friend, Camila, who had invited me to a fashion show in Brooklyn. And that was my first fashion show that I had ever been to in New York. And we were watching it, and while I'm sitting there, I'm like, I want to do this in Harlem. All I could do was talk about this idea that I had gotten. And that went on for weeks. And as I started to do research, I realized I could only find like 4 or 5 Black designers. And I thought, okay, something must be wrong. Clearly, I just don't know. I'm a fashion outsider. I'm from Memphis. I started going down department stores, literally looking at who are all the brands that they carry and how many of those brands are designers of color, and realized that less than 1% at the time were designers of color. And I was like, okay, this is it. I have to at least try to be a part of the solution. My name is Brandice. I am an entrepreneur, I'm a mom, and I'm an ideas person. And I'm also a creator. My relationship with my parents really shaped who I am today. My mom made all of our clothes when we were younger, and she wasn't like a master seamstress, you know? And so for her, she was like, go pick a pattern out of the Simplicity book, Brandice. And then I make my way over to like the Vogue books and like the very difficult books, and I come up with this like, here is the design that I want, Mom. But instead of 2 tiers, I want 3 tiers. And she'd go like, what happened to the Simplicity book that I gave you? And that was like always our struggle. So I think, you know, if you kind of look back at my past or my childhood, like fashion was always such a big part of who I was and what I loved. I was like, this is it. Either you decide at this moment that you're gonna keep on this path, which you can make good money in, or you can really do what you've always wanted to do, which is to work in fashion. And I turned down about 3 jobs, decided that I would figure out how to work in fashion. I started doing tons of research to figure out like what programs out there existed. I ended up living on my cousin's couch for a while. Then I moved back to my parents' home, which was so depressing, good Lord. But when you make a decision to like change careers or to do something that feels like there's no clear path to get there, you have to be kind of extreme. So I had decided, even if I have to go work as a janitor in a buying office, I'm working in a buying office. I worked for a temp agency, and while I was at that temp agency, this guy, OC Body, walked up to me and he said, "What are you supposed to be doing with your life?" And I said, "I'm supposed to be a buyer for a fashion brand." And he said, "So what are you doing here?" And I was like literally on the floor filing papers. And I said, "I don't know how to get a job. I've sent my resume to so many people." And he said, "Let me see your resume." And he looked through it and he was like, "I know why they didn't call you back." And so he helped me and worked on that resume, and I sent it again like a week later, and they called me back the same day. So I ended up getting a job there. I worked as an assistant buyer, and then I was like, I want to move to New York. And actually one of the vendors that I worked with as an assistant buyer, they offered me a job. And that was really how I got my start in fashion in New York. Our goal is to provide designers of color business opportunities that grow their brands with opportunities for people to know about them through press and media, as well as mentorship. You know, I think a lot of times when people start a business, they assume that people are going to come to them. I've never had that mindset. I've always assumed that if you want it, you go get it, because that was what we did. My dad had a phone jack business that on Saturday mornings when everyone else was watching cartoons, we would be out passing out flyers. And I think one of the things that I like dreaded as a child was when I couldn't just put the flyer like on someone's mailbox, and I actually had to give it to them in person. And then they would go, "What is this?" And I was so young, and I had to speak to adults about business. So with Harlem's Fashion Row, I was an outsider. I didn't expect for people to, magically discover who I was. The relationships that I wanted, I actually went and pursued. In 2017, which was my hardest year, I had said, I want to partner with a brand and bring a product to the market. And to be honest with you, I was thinking maybe a phone case, maybe like a t-shirt. To have that first partnership be Nike and LeBron James to bring the LeBron 16 shoe to life with 3 Black female designers that would not only be released here, but that would also be released in Asia. Like, that was more than I could have ever dreamt. I always say this, and it sounds so ambiguous, but I'm always looking for a designer's heart. What I mean by that is, yes, I want someone who has great talent, who has a unique perspective, who is bringing something fresh to the market. But also, I'm always looking for that designer who, if they could do 5 other things, they would still choose to be a designer. Like, this is what they feel like they were put on this earth to do. Those designers for me are always just such a joy to work with.
Okay. Tasha, this hair is cute.
Yeah. Charles is on the line.
Charles,
Yeah.
you won! Charles, you have worked so hard. You have something in you that, I don't know, maybe less than 1% of the world has in them when it comes to creativity and design. So, you know, it is an honor for us to have you be a part of this. And, you know, sometimes, you know, our roads aren't a straight path always, right? It's like winding, and it's detours, and it's things that come, and it's not always easy, but whatever is meant for you is for you. And this is design is meant for you. So, like, now you got me crying. I mean, Banana Republic is incredibly blessed to have you, and we're excited to see what you come up with.
So since the start of HFR, we've shown about 150 multicultural fashion designers. We've worked with 30 Fortune 500 brands. We've done probably over 75 events at this point. We have been able to honor Tracee Ellis Ross, Spike Lee, Swiss Beats, Ciara. There's still lots more to do. I will say that I've seen so many things accomplished for Harlem's Fashion Row and for designers of color that I had written down, years ago. Starting a nonprofit, which we recently did, Icon 360, raising $1 million for designers of color, really providing real mentorship and access to designers of color, which we've done through a partnership with Raise Fashion. What happens when you start to realize some of the dreams, you usually uncover something else. It's like an onion. And so I'm sitting here looking at the need in front of my face and saying, okay, what are you gonna do?